that you can actually participate in properly.
I found an architect on the Isle of Wight who helped me out, which was brilliant. Thank you.
But that wasn't the delay.
Who knows how long it takes to get stuff from the Isle of Wight. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Welcome to this meeting of the board. We're now being broadcast, so be aware. Georgia has sent her apologies. No, I think that's Elizabeth. Oh, sorry, yeah, that's just Elizabeth. Recording. John Burden is at the LGA conference. I think may join us virtually, but I'm not really expecting him to make time. Valerie is joining us virtually. Thank you very much indeed. We're due to finish by 5 p.m. and I'll make sure we do so. We've got a slightly longer meeting than we would normally have because we've got quite a lot of business to get. I don't think we don't have any members of the public in the room. Of course, they would be welcome if they were here. I've just welcomed Dermot Swainson, our new Deputy Director from MHCLG. Lindsay, Lindsay, do come, approach the bench, do sit a bit further forward, Lindsay. You're also very, very welcome. Thank you for coming. Any declarations of interest that anybody wants to make today? No, we're all on the record. You're not formally a board member, but I guess at some point you ought to go through a process with James just to check on declarations. We got the minutes of the last Part 1 board meeting. Please.
Oh, I can't, I wasn't there. Sorry.
Were you not there?
Get married.
Yeah. Wisdom's pen. Thank you very much. Yep. And then the actions log. So, do you want to say anything about outstanding actions?
I suppose the one, there are 3 outstanding actions. One is the improvements to the AV equipment. I think we're experimenting, aren't we, Andrew? So that's in hand, and as a corporation, we very much recognise the importance that the AV and the microphones work. This is a public meeting, and it needs to be able to be accessed and understood and by the public. So that has been a key focus. It will remain open until we're satisfied that we've got something that can really work. And you can see from the table that the other 2 outstanding actions are in hand and progressive.
Thank you very much. And the forward look. Any comments on the forward look? So could you just say something about the board papers as well? Just 2 sentences, no more. We are very conscious there's 297 pages, I think, which is a lot.
It is quite a lot. I think what we'd like to do with board members as we move forward is to, firstly, as an executive team, we'll be looking at how we can get the front end reports down. With the complexity of the work and the decisions that we make, there's almost always additional records, access, detail that board members will want to see, and there's a number of ways of that being made available. at the moment it's a challenge because different board members like things in different formats, which means it's quite a lot of work for the executive team. But certainly, and this is a point that was picked up in our board effectiveness room, how we continue to improve the quality and succinctness of our board papers is something that we're very mindful of.
Thank you very much. I think all but one member of the board is on diligent at the moment. Is that one? Are we all using diligent? Yeah, you're not using diligent, but I can. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Onwards, performance report, part one, please.
Thank you, David. Good afternoon, everyone. So yeah, part one performance report. CEO statements is included in section one, so three areas identified there. Incident fifth, I think it's a separate paper on the agenda. Everything will be well-being pavilion, including when that's opens, and there's probably going to be a public application for infrastructure contractor. So just to identify those, just to pick up on a few other things through the paper, I'll just sort of cover highlights. Housing delivery outlined in 2.3, 2.4. Good start to the year, broadly a quarter of the annual targets in the first quarter, so generally on track, which is good. The housing dashboard does identify a couple of risks that are changing. We are having some feedback from developers on build costs and labour again. From two different sites, so a few different developers, but we haven't had that feedback in a while, hence the change to the dashboard. Planning committee in May had a good meeting. 3 decisions went there, and they were approved, which is really good. We are meeting again this evening, having a presentation from Bishop Carrier and West Estate Ashmere, which we expect to be coming in during the autumn. Tom Allen has been appointed to the planning committee to replace Georgia, so we've been doing some induction work with Tom. Ebbsfleet Living, section 4, and then Annex B, and we've included a slightly longer update in terms of the inclusive growth programme this time, primarily because I think there was a question from Georgia on that. I'm just interested in just the way in which that work had been carried out previously, and the way in which that's then going to be sort of feeding into the business plan for this year. We had a really good session looking at various different contacts across the industry with Dartford a few weeks ago. Sarah and Jeremy were both at that. That was last Tuesday. But yeah, Annex B covers updates on the range of the work from placemaking team, community fund, Ebbsfleet markets, various different things around sort of cycling and outdoor cinemas, community development, bits and bobs like that. Paragraph 3.3 it has to be particularly better points. I think that's an interesting thing just to reflect on. Better points results, I think shows a really good sort of initiative coming to its ends. But that was definitely worthwhile. Section 5, the development update. I've already mentioned about the Ebbsfleet Central contractor work infrastructure in section 6. And I sort of feel like I don't really want to steal someone's thunder, but then there has been progress on the Springhead Bridge adoption, which I think logically comes into this section. So there's been some progress on that since. Have to take any question.
Thank you very much.
That's great.
Colleagues, any questions? Thank you. So I think Kevin, it's the Ebbsfleet Summer Fair this weekend, isn't it?
You Saturday and Sunday, it's the
Yeah.
summer for over 2 weekend. Yeah.
I saw
But it's the big day out as well.
big day.
Dartford. So
Okay, yeah.
they deliberately clashed it with us to
Yeah.
steal our audience.
Sunday.
But Jeremy did attend the last one, which had
Yeah.
20 in June.
That's good fun.
All welcome. There's very good cookie stall, which
Elevates.
exactly. Other cookies are available. All right, on we go then to the governance report. If we could. And Andrew, you can pop forward for that.
May I just interject with a small point in relation to the communities, please, David? Sorry,
Yeah.
it's
No.
quite hard to track. Which is that the report mentions a tour by the board, the trustee board of the EGCT, which looked at all of the social infrastructure and the issues and the legacy challenges and so on. And it was facilitated in part by EDC, and thank you, Simon. It was really great presentations on the day. But I do think it would be really worthwhile, our board, undertaking a very similar, well, in fact, the same tour, to be frank, because it was really illuminating, and I think it would be a useful endeavour for the board to undertake.
Thank you, Valerie. Kevin's now gone. Unfortunately. But we will take note of that, and so let's have a chat about how that could be managed in a constructive way. Keep trying with that.
Just want to make sure that we're pushed for time, so if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There we go.
There you are.
Right.
Go for it.
So the governance paper, I will take it as read. So we have a few approvals on governance matters today. If we go through, I'm going to go through by section and just ask for comments on each section, and if board are content to approve. So starting with the recommendation of 1.6, the board subcommittee. These are appointments to the various committees over the next few months. Our board members happy to approve these. This is the ARAC, the Planning and Investment Panel. And Remuneration Committee.
Yeah, I think most importantly, our board members who have been appointed to committees content with the committees they've been appointed to.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So then we have the EGCT board, EDC's nominations for that board. So Valerie will continue, and Peter will become a member from the 8th of July, from today, the 8th of July. Content to board and Valerie.
Thank you very much, Peter, for stepping up. I know Valerie is desperate for some help there. Onwards,
okay, and then we have these champion and functional standard board roles. These are kind of key parts of our governance and adhering to our framework agreements. Similarly, our board members happy to be said champions for functional standard units.
Good.
Yes.
Fantastic. So moving on to section 3, the scheme of delegations and standing financial instructions. This is an annual review that we do, and particularly given Sarah and me coming in and having a look at the way that we make decisions, how we delegate. We've had a thorough review internally, and the kind of key changes are shown in table 1 of the way that we have proposed changes to our scheme of delegation and standing financial instruments. I would kind of take particular notes. So this kind of delegates more capital budget internally to Sarah and the CEO. We currently don't have any limit to any CDL expenditure without coming to board. And then there are slight increases in purchase order approvals. And there's a bit of resilience in there too. So I, as Director of Corporate Services, would have more ability to kind of approve contracts and contract modifications up to £100,000. This is kind of to make sure that we act more with agility while retaining appropriate controls as well. We took this to both the scheme of delegation and the standing financial instructions to ARAC, who reviewed. So if ARAC members want to add any comments as well.
thank you. Nick, anything to say?
Well, we discussed at ARAC that ARAC thought that the £500,000 delegation to Sarah should come to the board for a brief discussion as to whether that was purely financial or whether that was deal related, and what the trigger issues were when £500,000 would also necessarily involve the chairman as well. Not point of view. Which will be short.
Okay. Sarah, do you want to say something about the delegation to you?
I think at the moment it is an issue for us as an organisation that there's no capital delegations. It's slightly strange because there is an RDL delegation. The question then is what is a sort of reasonable and appropriate figure, which gives me the ability to be agile whilst recognising, level of materiality appropriately should come to the board, and that's the level that's what we've sought by establishing it to 500,000. There would of course be transparency to the board as and when any decisions were made, and remain being accountable for having made those decisions with the proper control and governance audit trail. But it felt to me like a reasonable balance given the size of the capital programme that we have that ahead of us.
Thank you. So Nick sort of pointed at a couple of questions as to exactly how it would operate. Andrew, is there a more detailed, there's a more detailed sort of setting out how this scheme of delegation would work?
So there isn't the first coming to board for kind of comment enough. What I would say is that the kind of things that are not all contentious and kind of obviously we'd have to look at kind of managing public money.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a grant funding agreement, particular restrictions around purchasing of assets as well, which would have to come to board before they go to NHCLG. So we have additional governance that comes through that we would have to adhere to. Other than that, we would expect it to be, kind of as broad as possible in our standard projects, noting that we will have to report to the board as well about what we're doing, and that we're following our project governance controls as well.
Sorry, you go first, and then Nick.
Thank you. I'm okay in principle with this amount and that approach which was outlined at the committee and now, but I may ask that if the board approves this in 12 months' time, when the scheme comes back, we can really see the evidence that it's enabled better delivery and better outcomes to our customers, to the people who are in.
Yeah.
So the first time this came up as an issue was under Ian, and probably Simon you remember thoroughly. And Ian said, well, of course I could sign this section 106 contribution deal with QL under my £300,000 delegation.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite collective. You can take a breath from the board, and I think it was the thought process about a discussion about how will we deal with that as in the context of these delegations. What is the trigger that means it comes to the board or it goes to you at the same time, and that's the delegation. Generally, we're relaxed and have to understand that issue about needing to move fast and flexibility, and particularly as we start spending bigger sums faster.
Yeah. I think the other sort of kind of detailed issue that might occur is we've got a £2.5 million scheme. Can you approve another £500,000 on top of a £2.5 million scheme? So I think Andrew, the board is content in principle and absolutely understands the necessity to be agile, whether it's sort of, creating, I think there's an issue around a gate into a play area. At the moment, for example, it's about £20,000. At the moment, you can't approve that without coming to us. We completely get that that's sort of inefficient and not necessary. But perhaps, Andrew, when you've written down the sort of detail of how this will work, so that Sarah knows that she's operating within agreed tram lines, that you could just pop that back to us to have a look at.
That's fine. So by correspondence, or how?
I would have thought so, yeah. And if board members have got a problem with what you've written down, then perhaps we can have a chat about it.
That's fine.
Let's try and get this interesting.
Well, yeah, an additional add to that, you know, if there's the point around slicing and dicing
Yeah.
to get things away, it's actually something we're really familiar with, and wanting to control anyway. Having written the broader detail around that control process, would you then be able to also look forward over the next 12 months and say, actually, I think what this translates to in practice is I'm only going to be making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decisions or whatever the number might be, and they are broadly as far as best now.
It should absolutely be linked to our forward look on capital programme, which we're going to discuss later as well. And the idea is that, you know, we should know some of those. So there are things like small capital grants where we'd have a kind of estimated 500, we might not know them now, but we know roughly where they are. Equally, kind of smaller projects which we have in the programme that we can just kind of approve when the project governance goes through is really important. So it would be very much by exception that something that wasn't already known and reported to board for discussion would then pop onto the capital programme, and you know, we would be reporting forward look as well as kind of what we could approve.
Vice Chair, what happens between now and the next meeting then? Did I miss that correctly? Are there interim arrangements at the moment on it?
No, Andrew's going to write it down, put it round.
Right.
If we've got questions, we're going to have a chat about it at the next meeting.
That's, there's not going to cause you issues between now and the next meeting.
No, I think we can sort, there's nothing
Yeah.
immediate.
I will do that as a matter of priority, such that we get people colleagues input and we can kind of get this final version approved and moving forward, because it will be very helpful for us as well, I think, as a corporation.
I'm unclear as to what is being proposed, because we're told this is the scheme of delegation. We're then told we're going to get some more information. Is that going to be an amendment to this scheme? Or, because when it was first referred to, it was additional information. It's then you, David, gave the impression that it would be a change. It seems to me, if there is lack of clarity, which there is, the scheme needs to provide that clarity, not in some side letter or additional document. I mean, if you just take contract modifications, 100,000, is that the value of the existing contract, the value of the modification? We don't know that. Take the 106, where does that fall within this? It doesn't easily fall within any.
So I would say on those specifics, they are both contained within the annex, a bit more kind of clarity of in the annex of the scheme delegation itself, rather than in the kind of front paper. In terms of the capital programme, though, I would say that this kind of 500k, I'll say a couple of things. I would write to board colleagues kind of outlining the key changes, as well as the scheme delegation, which kind of puts those changes into words within that document, because it won't be a side letter. It will be enough, you know, the scheme delegation will be updated as well.
Good.
That's the key. Because this is a kind of annual review of it, and until you approve that, yeah.
I think for me, the format of what we're suggesting is that the scheme of delegation is being agreed with the principle that there is £500,000 delegation to the chief executive, subject to further clarification, which is agreed subsequently by the board and reflected in the scheme statement.
Yes. I mean, the point of it is not to restrict your flexibility, so it's to protect you and make sure that you're absolutely clear what is delegated to you and what isn't. Yeah. Okay. Onwards then to a rather different issue, which is the absolutely awful death of a young man in his primary life in Bamber.
Sorry, David, do we formally need to note and approve the action plan for the board effectiveness?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yes, yes. After the scheme of delegation and the standard financial instructions, the board effectiveness review, which I think was discussed prior to this meeting as well. So we just need board members to approve the action plan and note the effectiveness.
And we will come back to this over the summer and in the autumn to make sure that the recommendations are fully dealt with. Apologies for that. Thank you, Simon. So, as I say, we come on to this awful issue around the tragic incident at Bamber Pit, where a 15-year-old young man tragically died in the water there. Andrew, you were going to say something by way of introduction, and then Sarah, you were going to talk to this as well.
Yes, thanks, David. So you'll have seen the report, and just to kind of outline the details of what happened on the 27th of May. So a 15-year-old boy tragically drowned in the body of water at our Bamber Pit site. Emergency services were called at about 3 p.m. They did an extensive search in the water, but they recovered the body at approximately 7 p.m. The incident took place in a period of very hot weather, and it was understood that the boy was accompanied by 2 others on the site, one of whom called the emergency services. It is very likely that they entered the site from the entrance in the southern boundary fence, which had been vandalised a couple of days prior to the incident the day before. EDC were made aware of the incident the following morning and enacted an emergency response, working with our partners, BNP, and our security contractors, Mighty. We secured the site, we contacted the police to get a debrief, and we implemented additional security measures as well in the aftermath, as well as a review of the events. We're currently doing a full review of security measures, as well as doing community outreach on water safety in the community as well. We recognise that this is a tragic incident, and it is a national issue at periods of hot weather around water safety.
Thank you, Andrew. So I see if Sarah, you wanted to add anything.
Yeah, I mean, on behalf of the whole team, I just want to take the opportunity to kind of express our condolences to the family and friends and everyone affected by this. As a mother of a 16-year-old boy myself, I think we can't help but really want to express the most sincere condolences. It was very affecting for the whole organisation. As a landlord, we are responsible for 3 bodies of water. Water safety, therefore, for us as a corporation has always been and will continue to be a key issue. As we are subject to more warm weather incidences, the natural curiosity and desire of young people to cool off means that we recognise that we need to continuously review our control measures across the entire estate. But I'd like to just say again, express the entire team's condolences for this tragic occurrence.
Thank you very much. Jeremy, did you want to?
No, I mean, it is heartbreaking. We had a number of near misses in Dartford where we were encouraging young people to take that opportunities. I think one of the things that we're doing, and I understand the EDC is doing as well, is reviewing youth activities during that period and perhaps stepping up publicity of them in the run up to very hot periods to make clear that there are diversionary activities available to do. It's just heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking.
Thank you. Elaine.
Thank you. I would like also to express my deep condolences to the family and those who are affected by this tragic incident and very much in line what was Jeremy was commenting. Are we looking at the wider causes of teenage risk-taking behavior, and how do we ensure that the Garden City offer to teenagers is strong and appropriate?
There's a couple of activities I'll draw your attention to them. So firstly, I'm pleased to say now that we've reached agreement with Blue Water that between them and us, we will be offering swimming throughout the summer holiday in Blue Water swimming lake, which is of course safe and lifeguarded. Alongside that, we are building on the relationships that we have with our local schools in terms of communicating with young people. More broadly, as an organisation, we are also very mindful of looking at our youth programmes and our skills and training offer for young people as well.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, I'm sorry, Valerie, I've only just seen you.
Thank you. I too would offer my condolences on this tragic incident, but I did wonder if there was an opportunity to work with the Trust collaboratively on this. The RNLI have wonderful programmes on water safety and the like, and it's a great opportunity perhaps to collaborate with the community work that we're doing as the EDC and with the Trust in order to get water safety messages out, perhaps as I say in partnership with the RNLI. Thank you.
Thanks, Valerie. Sarah?
Yeah, we're already working with the RNLI in
Great.
terms of water safety.
Thank you.
It's very much a partnership approach in terms of how we can continually to ensure in periods of hot weather we are educating, we are offering other alternatives as well as making sure that we have the appropriate control measures to prevent access to our water bodies.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. I think we're there on behalf of the board. I'd also like to offer our condolences to your family, friends, and the whole community that's aware of this issue. Thank you very much. Colleagues, is there any other business, please? We have no public questions. In which case, Elizabeth, I think we can finish the meeting, or part one of the meeting, I should say.